for listening to A Glimpse of the Kingdom. I'm Dr. David Pendergrass. Today I'm going to talk about something very serious and somber, and it's something that needs to be talked about for millions and millions of people around the world. And that is this: how do you re-earn someone's trust after you've betrayed a person? How do you do that? And this is especially true when it comes to marriage relationships, but it can be true of any real close friendship and so forth. But today I want to talk about particularly as it relates to a spousal relationship. Like I said, though, you can use some of these principles with close friendships, but I'm going to say the word spouse probably a good bit, just to be very specific, because in my work with couples, it's a very common issue. I want to say a little bit about this first, and that is the issue of trust. Trust must be earned. And I like to use an analogy of a savings account or a tank. It fills up over time. Healthy people let their trust account fill up slowly. Healthy people do. Unhealthy people trust anybody for almost no reason, or they trust very quickly, and that's unhealthy because you're more likely to get hurt and put yourself in a situation where you're going to be hurt. So healthy people don't do that. They take their time. It fills up slowly. And when a person demonstrates trustworthiness over a period of time, the trust account gets full, and this allows real, deep, rewarding bonding. You can't bond with a person if you're not trusting the person. Now, betrayal, especially in a marriage relationship, but really any close relationship, it empties the trust account. Whether it's your friend, your family member, or spouse who betrays you, betrayal depletes the trust account severely. In a spousal relationship, especially, I've seen it over and over where, it goes down to $0 immediately. It's just over. And I've known dozens and dozens of people who've been betrayed by family members, co-workers, friends, and spouses. And I've been betrayed several times in my life from people I deeply trusted and loved. I have. And being betrayed is one of the most wretched experiences a human can have. I want to give what I think are absolutely necessary foundational things in order to restore a relationship after you've been betrayed. Now, though this is debated within Christianity, just know that my own view is that if a person repents of sins within a relationship, it's better to work on the restoration. I do believe that infidelity is certainly a justifiable reason to end the marriage. I do. I just think it doesn't have to end the marriage. Infidelity can be a reason to divorce. I'm saying it does not have to be. I have counseled many couples who typically, not always, but typically it's the guy who's had many affairs or one or whatnot. But not always. I've counseled couples with a woman who's had affairs. And all that to say, they make it. And it depends on what you do to heal. Now, to be real clear, what I'm going to talk about now are things you must do if you are the one who has betrayed. I'm going to talk at another time about what do you do if you are the person who was betrayed. But now it's, if you are the perpetrator, here's some steps I'm telling you are absolutely necessary to help your spouse or your close friend genuinely heal. Number one, especially for marriages, you must absolutely be sure that you want to remain committed to the covenant you made with him or her and God on your wedding day. That is to say, again, you must be absolutely sure that you want to remain committed to the covenant you made with your spouse and God and the congregation on your wedding day. There can't be any gray area or middle ground. There can't. You just can't do it. If you want to make things better, just to make your spouse happy, then you would probably be unfaithful again. Or at least you're going to leave your spouse in a few years holding resentment toward your spouse. That's not what Christians do. They make a covenant and they maintain it. Now, if you repent of your sins and your spouse wants to remain in a relationship, then there is absolutely still hope that you can get fully bonded. But first, you have to make up your mind. Are you going to throw away your covenant for good, rescinding the covenant you made in your vows? Or would you really finally be committed to the vows you made? It's a big deal. You have to make up your mind if you're going to have the integrity of committing to the covenant you made in marriage. Now, if you've betrayed, you've already blown it. You've blown it. But now you get to make up your mind whether you're going to keep on blowing it. If you decide, real gut level, you've got to be gut level honest. Gut level. Is it genuinely your desire never go out with that girl again or that guy again? Is it your genuine desire never to go clubbing, never to go play around, never to flirt, whatever? You have to make up your stinking mind. If you don't, you'll probably do it again. Which means you're not bonded and you're not having a covenant with this person, with God. It means you lied. It means you lied on your marriage day. So the first step includes stopping whatever pattern you had previously and receiving accountability. This is especially true if you have an addiction. You need to get with a Christian counselor and really figure out what led to those decisions. You need to separate your past from your present. And this allows you to get really committed to your marriage vows. So you have to stop whatever pattern, whatever was missing, whatever woundedness, whatever issue that led you to that place. You've got to get real serious about why it is. And this usually they say, well, David, I just screwed up. It just messed up. I know screw-ups happen. I get it. I understand. But screw-ups don't happen accidentally. It is a mindset. And maybe it just means you got drunk. Maybe the fact is you're an alcoholic. Or maybe you shouldn't go drink anymore. Maybe you shouldn't drink around women anymore. Maybe you shouldn't go to the bar anymore. Maybe you shouldn't hang out with that girl. In other words, things led up to that point. David, I don't believe you. This is where you're debating me right now in your mind. Well, let me tell you this, buddy. I'll talk to as if you're men, because usually it's men, but not always. If you betrayed a person, it's because at some level it was okay with you. It was just okay with you. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care what anybody's ever told me. I've told this, and I will tell you happily with a smile on my face. At some level, it was okay with you. Maybe not when you were a kid. Maybe not even on your marriage day. Maybe when you said your vows, it wasn't okay with you. But at some point, you decided, I'm going to give my permission to start having an affair. At some point, I mean, you decided it's okay to get inappropriately close to that person. And I'm telling you, step one is, when it comes to healing from betrayal, is you've got to make up your mind whether or not that's ever going to happen again. And if you don't know how to make sure that never, ever happens again, you've got to go to counseling. You've got to get accountability. You have to get out of this. You know, I personally have decided never, ever to rape someone. I'm never going to rape anybody my entire life. You're going to have to kill me before I would rape. I'm not going to rape someone. I'm not going to murder somebody. I've wanted to murder people. People have betrayed me. I've wanted to kill them. But I wouldn't do it, of course, because I made my mind up. I'm not going to do that. I have absolutely made up my mind. I will not have an affair with my spouse. It's not going to happen because I made my mind up. It is possible to make up your mind not to do a sin. Now, maybe you need help. Maybe you need accountability. Maybe you need 15 years of counseling. Fine. But it is possible. Outside of severe psychological disorders, it is possible to say that will never, ever happen. I see it like this on a computer. You make folders. One folder is things I'll do. One folder is hell will freeze over before I ever do it. The other folder is in between. It's the gray area. It's the I'm not sure, but probably, but I kind of feel badly, but I'll do it anyway. It depends on my situation, and I'm really just a victim. It's a long title for a folder. You have to move certain things into the hell will freeze over category, or you will probably do it again because you put in the other folder, which is I don't really want to, but who knows, life gets crazy and who knows if it works out. And I'm saying step one is you've got to make up your stinking mind because you've already blown it. And it was in the wrong folder. Are you going to move it to the right folder? Or are you going to back out and rescind the covenant you made with your spouse and God and the community or the judge or whomever and go back? Because if you're going to go back, if it's in the folder of maybe this will happen again, then you need to be honest. You have already broken up the marriage and the marriage is dissolved. You're not married anymore. Then you need to help your spouse get the legal things possible and move on with your life. Now, the bad news is, for people like you, if you make your mind up, Jesus called that person an adulterer. It's a really, really big deal. Now, in today's culture, what I just said sounds profoundly stupid because everybody does it. I mean, you can pass billboards, get divorced for $100. They probably have places where you can get divorced in a drive-thru. I don't know. A divorce and a donut and some chocolate, I bet. That's our throwaway culture. It's a disposable culture we live in. And if you're a Christian, it's not disposable. It's not disposable. And it's not the end of your marriage. It's not the end of your life. All I'm saying is you need to make up your mind and get the accountability you need. So that's inside of you. That's inside of you. Step 2 is where we change direction. Steps 2, 3, and 4, all about you and your spouse's relationship. So step 2 is this. So let me be real clear. Step 1 is you got to make up your mind. I'm not going to ever do that again. It goes to the folder of hell will freeze over category, and you receive the help and accountability you need to not do it again. Step 2 is this. You must absolutely absorb, that is, carefully listen to, all of the profound pain, rage, and grief you cause your spouse. You've got to absorb it. And this is crucial. You cannot, under any circumstance, make excuses for what you did. You can't do that. When you make excuses, well, honey, at the time I was drunk. Honey, at the time you weren't having sex with me. Honey, at the time we weren't close together. Honey, at the time I was really hungry. Honey, at the time she came on really hard to me. Honey, at the time, if you're a victim, if you claim victimhood at all, you're ruining it. You will not stay bonded. Your marriage won't last. You need to take it. You need to take on your spouse's emotions. You have to listen. You have to just sit there and listen. You can't make excuses. Don't obfuscate. Don't circumvent. Your spouse will need to spew, and you are the one that your spouse needs to spew on. You've been carrying around poison, and you just dump the poison on your spouse, and she has to get it out on you. Or he has to get it out on you. Now, if this takes years, so be it. Take it. Your spouse didn't cause this. Your spouse is a victim to your awful, stupid choices. You take it for as long as your spouse needs to spew. And every single couple I've ever counseled through the years, the ones that did not reach restoration after betrayal, it was because they did not do this step. I'm telling you, if you don't take it, and I mean all of it, then the person won't feel validated. And without validation, your spouse can't heal fully. Their trust account will never, ever get refilled. It's like having a hole at the bottom of the tank. It just keeps leaking out right away. The person will just be terrified that you'll just do it again and then not take responsibility for it. Why? Because it wasn't your fault in the first place. Not really. Not really. You didn't mean for it to happen. You're just a victim to the hormones. You're just a victim to biochemical moves. You're just a victim to the stars and the moon, the phases. You're just a victim. You cannot do that. I once went to a basketball game with a guy I barely knew from church. He told me on the way how he had affairs during his marriage before. But hey, he was in a bar and had drunk too much. What was he to do? This is called playing the victim. And it ruins relationships. I thought, you should have left the bar and kept your freaking zipper up. That's what I thought. Shockingly, they're divorced now. So step 2 is you have to take full responsibility for your actions, and it's the only way to heal. And you do that by sitting there and allowing your spouse to spew on you all the rage, anger, frustration, hatred, sadness, grief that is necessary, with no excuses. Now, typically, if you do this well, and if your spouse does this well, this does not last for years. It doesn't last for years. In my experience, with numerous couples, they don't live 30 years of this. If it's 30 years of this, your spouse has chosen not to forgive you. And that's a different podcast. But you have to do this stage. And oftentimes, the spouse keeps bringing it up because you do keep making excuses. Not all the time, but oftentimes. Step number 3. When your spouse is done spewing you for that episode, apologize. Really apologize. Say exactly how what you did caused such destruction. That is, you name, and you must name the damage you've done to your spouse. You need to name it. Tell your spouse what stupid, evil, horrible choices they were. Tell her how you recognize the pain you've caused. Tell your spouse how profoundly sorry you are, and mean it. If you don't mean it, it'll just make your spouse more angry and sad, and it won't help you or your spouse or your relationship. So really, really deep down, apologize every single time your spouse spews on you. Forever. Never stop. Unless she says it's okay to stop apologizing, which is possible. She might say, no, I'm just spewing. I don't need to hear, I'm sorry again. Well, if she says that or he says that, well, you don't have to do it all the time. But until your spouse says that, you have to validate. You have to listen and take it, no excuses. And step 3 is you have to apologize. And you name it. I'm so very sorry for the pain I've caused you. I see it in your eyes. It devastates me to see you weeping like this. And I know I caused it, and it wrecks me. And I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so very sorry. That was my fault. It was my wrong. It was my bad. I take responsibility. I caused you this pain, and I hate it. That's what you have to do. You have to really apologize. If you're a fake, if you're a liar, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, honey. I'm just, if you're a liar, your spouse will know you're a liar, and your marriage is over. It's just over. Have integrity. Apologize. Step number 4, and this is it. Go out of your way to demonstrate change and trustworthiness. Now, not one single thing is too small. Does your spouse need you to send a picture from your phone where you are every 5 minutes? Then do it. Does your spouse need to purchase a tracking device to put on your car? Then do it. Does your spouse need you to call her every hour to tell her where you are? Then do it. Then do it. And the second you make excuses and come across defensive, your spouse is going to know you're hiding something. You'll continue to maintain an empty account. Remember, your trust account is utterly empty with your spouse. Nothing you say matters. Nothing. You must demonstrate that you can be trusted. Honey, I told you I'm going to show up. I'm going to be, trust me. Don't, idiot. She doesn't trust you. She doesn't trust you because you blew it. And it's ridiculous to assume she needs to just snap out of it and start trusting you. That's not how it works. That's just not how it works. So you can be as outraged as you want that it's taken a few months or a year for her to get over some of this spewing, but get over it. She and he, if you're depending on the spouse, didn't ask for this. So you can talk all you want, but I would just shut up if I were you, and I would just show it. Just show it. She says, I need you to do blank. You say, done. Done. Happily to. Can't wait to show you. Here's a tip. Ask your spouse what you can do to re-earn trust. Ask it. What can I do to help? What can I do to re-earn your trust? Give your spouse options like the ones I just mentioned. Like the tracking device or sending pictures or text. Let your spouse see that you'll stop at nothing until your spouse sees that you can be trusted now. You're just daggum going all in. I'm not going to stop at anything until you can see that I can be trusted. And I'm not going to stop until you look me in the eyeball and say, okay, your tank's filled back up. Stop sending me pictures. They're annoying. When that happens, you've won. Back to restoration. These are the 4 necessary steps you must do. Now, here's the deal. Your spouse doesn't control how long the grief will last. Remember, you did this to your spouse. It's not his or her fault. If you accidentally had a car wreck and she broke her legs, she can't control how long it takes her body to heal. She can't control how long it takes her body to heal. She can decide to go to physical therapy. She cannot control how long it takes to heal. This is even more so with emotional trauma. Therefore, if 5 years from now you catch her really angry or crying because of what you did some years ago, go through the last 3 steps again. It doesn't mean she or he is holding it against you. It means your spouse is grieving. Now listen, if your spouse has been going to a counselor and surrounding herself or himself with Christian friends who support, and you've been perfectly trustworthy, your spouse's pain will diminish. It will diminish. You might be disagreeing with me right now. That's fine. I just think you're wrong. I have just seen personally too many times when the spouse is able to move on. Does it mean it never, ever, ever stings the rest of their life? No, not necessarily. It just means, well, exactly what I said. The pain will diminish if your spouse has been going to a counselor, surrounding herself by Christian friends who support. That's a big deal, by the way. Spouses, if you've been betrayed, you've got to reach out. And then your spouse says, no, don't tell anybody. No, I'd be so ashamed. I don't give a rip if you'd be ashamed. This is what happened. And I need help. Forget your honor. Forget pride. I need help. And right now, your spouse is no help because you don't trust your spouse. At least one other person has to know. I would say a group of friends who's there for you no matter what. And if you do that and you've got support, the pain will diminish. And years from now, after you've both been healing, it's okay to add a number 5 step. After years of healing, it's okay to add a number 5 step. So that is after you complete steps 2 through 4. Remember those 2 through 4? We'll go back and listen to the podcast. If you don't, you've got to know them. And only after you've done them, it's okay to then say something like this. Is there anything I'm doing now that hurts you? That's the magic question. Is there anything I'm doing now that hurts you? You're helping your spouse see that the past is not their present. You're helping your spouse see that the past is not the present by saying, is there anything I'm doing now that hurts you? Don't go there until you really think your spouse is healed much. Now, what if your spouse never gets over it? What if your spouse continues to rage at you and hold it against you for several years? Well, there's no magic number in the years it should take. It might be the case that your spouse not being deliberate in the healing process. Maybe not. Maybe your spouse is holding on because it helps your spouse feel defensive and don't want to be hurt again. She doesn't want to trust you again because you hurt her so badly. And it's absolutely hellacious to go through betrayal. And so she brings it against you because, you act really sweet when she brings it up. And so she feels validated. Maybe that's why. Maybe she's just scared to death of being hurt. Maybe she feels a little self-righteous. Maybe she feels a little superior to you by bringing it up. I don't know. All I know is I wouldn't tell her that. Don't tell your spouse that ever. I would suggest you both go to a counselor if you wonder and let the counselor bring that issue up. It's not your job. You're just not holding on forever. That's your problem. You don't want to forgive me. You're just like your mom. You're going to blow it. That's not your role. Don't turn into the parent. Don't turn into your spouse's counselor. Let a counselor be the counselor. Let a counselor be the counselor and decide. If it's been years down the road and the spouse is still grieving every night, you need to go to a counselor. By the way, you should have gone there already. You should have gone there already. But if you hadn't already, it's time to go. Follow these crucial steps, all right? Follow these 4 crucial steps. And of course, a step, you might say, quote unquote, or, a principle that underlies all these steps is pray, pray, pray. Ask God for wisdom. Ask God for healing. You go to a trusted Christian counselor. You reach out for support and help. And you don't give up. Give it time. Deliberate time, by the way, not just any old time. Time does not heal all wounds. That's a stupid statement. Time does not heal all wounds. That is stupid. That's stupid. God can do incredible things through the healing process through time. Be deliberate and allow the Spirit to do His great work in you and your relationship. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to A Glimpse of the Kingdom. To listen to other podcasts, go to iTunes and search up A Glimpse of the Kingdom. A Glimpse of the Kingdom. There you can subscribe to all the podcasts. They'll be automatically updated to whatever program you use, or of course through iTunes. Or you can go through my website, davidpendergrass.com. If you want more information about the marriage retreats that I lead, or more information about the consulting that I do, go to davidpendergrassconsulting.com. If you'd like to contact me directly, find me on Twitter at Dr. D. Pendergrass, at Dr. D. Pendergrass, and I will do my best to respond to your Twitter comment or question, and maybe even address your issue on the air on my podcast. I'll see you online.